Hey everyone, for this week's video I will be doing an Avgolemono soup. It's basically a Greek equivalent to chicken noodle soup. It's chicken, rice, the traditional chicken noodle soup veggies, carrots, onion, and celery, and then its additional flavors are dill and lemon. And then it also gets egg incorporated in it as a thickening agent. So I'll be showing you the process of tempering egg into broth to use that as a thickening agent for a soup. But first, let's start. This is going to be somewhat similar to the video last week. Got some plain chicken breast. I got garlic. I'm not going to use all this garlic. I have dill for both the marinade and and for going into the soup as well. Olive oil, salt, pepper, red pepper flake, and lemon juice. I have fresh lemon for the soup itself. So first, crush up some of these cloves. I'm gonna do all my garlic now for this recipe. I have sauteed garlic, and then I have this garlic for the marinade. And I'm going to do it now and set about half of or most of this garlic aside for later for the sauteing aspect. Yep. And then I'll chop up that dill a little bit. It doesn't need to be too precisely chopped. No, I lost one. Anyways, because this is just the marinated chicken. And the substitution for my version of the recipe will be cauliflower rice in place of long grain. And then there will also be an addition of some kale just to give it some more body. Also, we just like kale. Okay, all the garlic is smashed. I'm going to start. I smash it all so it kind of gets flattened out on an even level. Then give it once over one direction. Once over the opposite direction. And remember, you're using big pieces, or it's easier just to leave garlic as larger pieces for sauteing. That way it doesn't burn as easily. And it doesn't really matter what I do for the marinade. Though it is important not to just chuck in whole cloves of garlic, that's fine. But every time you take something and cut it down, you're increasing its surface area, which is the contact point for flavor meeting whatever you want. Toss that in there. I'm setting that little pile to the side. Give that a little rough chop. Get in there. I'm going to go rinse my hands quickly because they're sticky from the garlic and the dill. And then, 2 capfuls, which is, I'd say, about 1.5 tablespoons of olive oil. A couple squirts of lemon juice. Salt. Red pepper, or that was pepper, sorry. Some red pepper flake. Here's salt. And that's it. And I will be back later with you guys to show you the rest. And then I'm just going to go ahead and mix that around. And It'll be about 2 hour or hour and a half to 2 hour cook process. Because I gotta get the chicken shreddable, so I'll be going in just stock pot water for a little while. But anyways, I'll be back with you guys later tonight. Hey everyone, I'm moving on to the actual production of the Avgolemono soup with keto modifications. Let me go over some of the ingredients. This is the reserve garlic from the earlier, when I marinated chicken. That'll come in towards the end. I got my chicken has been marinated for about a day now. Cauliflower rice will replace the rice that will eventually go in the soup. Carrots, 2 onions, 4 carrots, 4 stalks of celery, lemon and dill coming in at the end, lemon and dill coming in at the end as flavorings. Green onions going in, 2 stalks or 2 bunches, and then I got some kale right here I gotta rinse, also coming in at the end, though a little bit before the lemon juice and the dill. Seasonings, salt and pepper, some bay leaf, some chicken base, and two eggs later on during the tempering process. So first thing of what I'm going to do, I'm going to get the onions, celery, and carrots diced up for 2 things. It's all going to get sauteed, but I'm going to reserve about 3/4 of the mostly fully cooked veggies and set that aside in the bowl. I will add them back in towards the end. But what I'm going to do is I have a lot of carrot, onion, and celery today, more than I usually would, because I'm going to use some of those vegetables to stay with the chicken in the pot while it slow cooks, while it shreds, to give the chicken itself more flavor. But then I want to still have vegetables in my soup at the very end. Let me move this a little bit. So I'm going to reserve most of them to go in the soup still. But I'm going to lose 1/4 of them while the chicken is getting to the point where it's shreddable in the stock pot. And the reason I'm going to lose them is because by the time the chicken is shreddable, they will be mush. They'll be of no use to me, and I'll be pulling them out of the soup. Now I could use them another way if I wanted to use them as a thickening agent. I could take all those mushy stock veggies and then puree it. But then that's not necessarily the best thickening agent for the soup. It kind of just turns into cloudy vegetable residue floating around in your soup. It won't taste bad. They'll be sort of neutral because by the time all those veggies have cooked through and contributed to the chicken flavor, the veggies themselves are nearly flavorless. So anyways, I got onion diced up. I'm going to be sauteing, I guess I'll be sauteing a little cauliflower with this as well, and that'll get sacrificed into the stock pot. celery. Some carrot. If you notice how I'm cutting, I'm trying to make everything relatively uniform size. Line up those chunks of carrots. I've cut the carrots in half lengthwise so they all lay flat on the board. And then I'm just dicing them into relatively uniform pieces. And actually, I'm going to shift gears for 1 second. I'm going to turn the heat on. Can you see? Okay. I'm going to turn the heat on. Because I just thought about this part. I'm trying to cook this in as minimal steps as possible, using only this one dish. If I saute my cauliflower in with my stock vegetables, I'm going to lose a decent amount of my pearled cauliflower. I'm losing parts of my rice. So I'm going to go ahead and get a little bit of olive oil. Let that get hot. A little bit of canola oil because I just use straight extra virgin, and I want to lower its smoke point so the oil doesn't burn. Wait a second. I'm going to pause and wait for the oil to get hot. And then I'll be back. I'll probably cut the remaining carrot in the meantime, so I'll have all that diced up. Hello. Alright. Oil's hot. Hear the sizzle. Spread that around in the pot. As to an even as layer possible. I believe you can see. I'm going to let that go for a second as is. I'm going to salt and pepper that. And I have to keep going on my remaining cut work. So here I am with celery, onions, and carrots. I need to add some green onions still. Let me give these a quick rinse. This is actually going into the saute mixture as well. All about half of this. I'm going to put more in. I'm going to reserve like about half of this at the end, because by the time, as I mentioned, cook times for all the various vegetables, the green onion here is fairly frail and will wilt quickly, but it will impart flavor to the soup. So later on, this will get tossed in at the end with my dill, my lemon, and my kale, this portion, about 1 green onion's worth. And then the rest is going into the saute mix. Alright, let me take you back over there. There's this. I'm about to get some salt and pepper. Gonna season it up, let that go for a couple more minutes, then take that all out, reserve it for later, then toss that back into the almost finished soup. I'll set you aside for now to resume in our cut work, and I'll be back in 1 second. Hello, I'm back. Here is that dill pile, and then it's just going to get the old choppy chop. But I'm going to go a little bit further than I've gone with other chopped herbs than I've done, just because leaving long strands of dill in your soup will be slightly disturbing to your palate. And rich. And that is all of my cut work. I'm going to take this garlic now and add it to my sauté mixture. It's been about 5 minutes since I left off. Mix that around. I already added salt and pepper to this, so you're starting to see a little bit of browning in the onions and a little bit of celery. I'm going to let this go until the carrots are almost tender, and then I'm going to pull 3/4 of this. In the meantime, I'm going to bring back something I've already shown before. I'll do so again. Rinsing kale. My previous colander broke, so I had to upgrade my life. This is only like $10. Got some kale. Then I'll untwist you. Pull off the pieces. And this is definitely going to need to go on a colander because I can feel the grit on my fingers as I'm cleaning this kale off the stems. Again, you can cook with the stems on. You'll just need to keep in mind that the stems will have a significantly longer cook time than your than the leafy part. Like this is, if you want to make a quick collard green, kale is a go-to because it's really just like an hour by itself to get the stem down. Whereas conventional collard greens, you can make it happen in 4. Ideally, it's a 8 to 12 hour cook, depending on what region you grow up, where you came up from, and their preferences on collard greens. Oh yeah, I can feel all that dirt. Now this colander is going to be all full now, but I'm going to lose half this volume when it actually gets cooked. And then, be all she wrote. I'm going to get this in the sink, rinse off. Okay, this is looking pretty good. Lots and lots of browning. Probably should have came back and stirred that quickly, but that'll be okay. There's actually that very minimal char that I can tell with these carrots. Actually, the carrots are about done. So I'm going to go ahead and pull most of this. I'm going to move all my veggies to one side of the pot, away from where my eyes are, because I'm going to work on searing my chicken before I add any liquids. So let me spray right where they were at, and to show you what I'm talking about. I'm adding water to the marinade mixture because this is going to go and incorporate some chicken base. This is going to go into the stock pot. And this is what it's looking like right now. I've moved the veggies to the cooler side of the skillet and letting these chickens sear up before I add all the liquid and get this going for it to be shreddable. Okay. So I will pause for a second. Hello. This is, I can get more browning, but this is more than sufficient. I'm going to go ahead and start adding my liquid. So this is about 3 quarts of water and my residual marinade mixture. I'm adding about a tablespoon of chicken stock, or chicken base. Give that a quick swirl. I don't need to get it fully dissolved because I'm going to add a lot more liquid. That was about 3/4 of a gallon of broth and water mixture. I'm going to add in lost a bay leaf. Oh, it went into the eye. I'm adding 4 bay leaves into this. I'm going to cover it for a second to help bring it back up to a boil. And then once it gets up to a boil, I'm going to reduce its heat and let it simmer for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. So I'll be back with you in a moment. I'm going to do some dishes in the meantime. Hey everyone, I'm back. It's about an hour later. I just checked one of the breasts and it was pullable. And then I pulled out a little bit, about a cup's worth of the broth already there. I'll leave that temperature for a second to come down because that's going to get mixed with my scrambled egg that I have and then tempered back into the broth. But right now I'm going to grab my other 2 breasts that I'm going in the stock pot and remove those veggies I was talking about that are mush at this point now. So basically my golden rule is when it comes to pulling chicken, if you can do so with a pair of tongs with a minimum amount of effort, like, what are y'all seeing? I think you got a good angle. Like so. I could have gone a little longer, but this will be fine. And this will all get tossed back in the pot in a second. But first, I'm going to remove some things from my life. Let's see, where'd my slotted spoon go? My washer's clean, by the way. Just in case none of you disturbed. Slotted spoon. There you go. I'll go ahead and fish for that those bay leaves. And all these old mushy bits. Drain back some of that excess broth, because that's the valuable stuff. Throw that away. Crank the heat back up. Get my kale going in here because that actually needs some cooking. Back in there, my chicken and my mostly cooked veggie mix. And I'm probably going to just need to add some regular chicken broth because there's a lot of veggies in this mixture. I'm adding about 2 more quarts. And another tablespoon of chicken grease. So this has all my dill, all my veggies, all my green onion, the chicken, the kale, which is already softened up quite a bit. And then I just need to get this to come to a boil. So I'm going to put a lid on it, and then I will show you the final stage of tempering the egg mixture. So, I got egg mixture here. I got some lukewarm stock right now. So while mixing the egg to keep it moving, slowly add in your broth mixture. The reason I'm moving the egg while slowly adding in the broth is I don't want hot broth sitting in one particular spot of egg, cooking it. A little bit of a spill, but that's okay. And right now, this is about equal volume egg and chicken broth. And when that comes to a boil, the pot I have over there, I'm going to slowly incorporate this mixture into the soup, and that will thicken it slightly. The reason I'm gradually doing this is I'm trying not to cause an extreme temperature change, which will cause the eggs to cook and scramble, which is bad. Okay, so while I'm waiting for that to come to a boil again, I'm going to pause for a second. I will be back with you in a couple minutes. Hello everyone, we're back for a second. So this is how you want it to be looking for the most part. So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to slowly add in this egg mixture while stirring the pot. Let it get all incorporated before you add more in. And then, fans are on. Sorry. So I had just taken the egg and broth mixture and slowly added it in while the pot was boiling. And as you can see, it's thickened up slightly and developed a little cloudier color, and that's what you're aiming for. The last step is to add lemon juice and taste. So that's about half a cup of lemon juice added. This is about 1.5 gallons, maybe almost 2 gallons worth of soup. I'm going to go ahead and taste that. I can actually add in the rest of that lemon juice. And then I'm going to need to add salt. And salt's always to preference. And if you added too much salt, you can always add more water. And it'll also give you more soup. And there you have it. Greek Avgolemono soup, chicken rice soup, minus the rice, adding with riced cauliflower and kale.